Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This time we've got another variety article about Joker. Folie adieu, folie adieu. Uh, what a failure it was. I believe it's going to be out on streaming a lot sooner than it should be if it was a successful run. But there are a lot of things going around at Joker. The first one was like $1 billion success or whatever. I don't think it quite earned a billion, but it was up there, I guess. I mean, I'll have to check it. I wasn't a huge fan of the Joker, to be honest, but it was an okay film. But this is one I will never watch, simply because something called The Joker, a sequel to The Joker, should not be musically inclined, right? Because although I didn't really like The Joker Folie à Deux is a complete step. Well, it's a complete mile in a different direction to where it was going, as far as I can tell. But this is from yesterday or the day before, depends on when this video goes out. Joker Folie à Deux to lose 150 million to 200 million in theatrical run after bombing at box office. Yes, it's going to be a huge flop. It's not even. It's barely making its, but it's not going to make its budget back. That's for sure. Um, so yeah, we'll go into this at some point. So Warner Bros. Honestly, honestly, Lady Gaga, really. Joker Folie à Deux was primed to be another twisted comic book smash instead of as the sequel to 2019's billion-dollar hit Joker is a box office disaster. So far, the offbeat musical about Batman's notorious foe has grossed $51.5 million domestically and $165 million globally after 2 weeks of release. Someone commented in the section below, does the 165 million that's got to include the 51 and a half, right? Just clarify that for me in the comments down below, please. By comparison, the first Joker had generated 96.2 million domestically and 248.4 million globally after 3 days of release. That's a huge difference, right? The sequel won't earn anywhere near that much by the end of its theatrical run, which ticket sales projected to stall at a lifetime gross of 65 million, if they're lucky, domestically, and 210 million to 215 million globally, if they're lucky, when Folie à Deux leaves the big screen. That's a huge problem because Joker 2 cost 200 million to produce and roughly 100 million to market, so that's at least 300 million they need to get money to start getting money back, right? And distribute. At this rate, the film won't get anywhere close to the 450 million needed to break even. So it's not even going to break even. It's the actual run. Ticket sales are split between studios and theatre owners. Sources at Warner Brothers say the movie will break even at 375 million after critics and audiences flat out reject the big budget tentpole, which received a 33% rotten average on Rotten Tomatoes and a rare D grade on CinemaScoop. It's shaping up to be one of the year's biggest catastrophes. It's now poised to lose at least 150 million to 200 million in its theatrical run, according to the estimates of insiders, as well as three rival executives with knowledge of similar productions. One source speculates the film will end up losing its backers just north of 200 million, while another believes the damages may be closer to 125 million. Yeah, sure. Any estimates suggested by anonymous insiders or rival executives are grossly wrong, and continues a trend where rumour is reported as fact. That's true. A Warner Brothers spokesperson said in a statement, the film continues to play in theatrical release included, with it this week's opening in China and will continue to earn revenue throughout its home viewing and ancillary run. Warner Brothers does have the potential to recoup at least a bit of its investment when Folie lands on home entertainment platforms on October 29th. Yet its paltry grosses represent a shocking collapse from Joker, which became an unlikely and undisputed box office champion with $335 million in North America and over $1 billion worldwide. So that's 1.078 billion. So yeah, it stood at the time as the highest grossing R-rated movie in history. Disney's Marvel sequel Deadpool and Wolverine supplanted that record in the US with 635 million and worldwide with 1.32 billion over the summer. Though Joker remains the biggest R-rated international release with 748 million budget at roughly 65 million. Joker was one of the most profitable comic book adaptations ever made, although Warner Brothers had to split the riches with two co-financiers, which the studio added to mitigate risk on the unconventional DC anti-hero story. Warner's has one co-financier domain on the sequel. Given the monster success of Joker, which also scored 2 Oscars, it's not surprising that Folie was greenlit and granted a bigger budget. But the outsize price point is one that makes it difficult for most films to achieve profitability in the current box office landscape. Yeah, because they're spending too much money on shit. Much of the reason for the follow-up film's gargantuan price tag was because of fees for director Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix. I have trouble with his name. Returning as disturbed stand-up Arthur Fleck, both of whom earned $20 million up front, as well as Lady Gaga joining as fellow Arkham inmate Harleen Lee Quinzel, who pocketed $12 million. That's, you know, where the money's going. If the filmmakers and studio were committed to making a sequel, and why wouldn't they be after the first film made over $1 billion? They faced a very difficult challenge of telling a new chapter that kept the audience engaged. They should have just carried on with it, says analyst David A. Gross of movie consulting firm Franchise Entertainment Research. Box office analysis believe that Phillips alienated the DC fan base by bringing song and dance numbers into the sequel. That's true, resulting in the cavernous difference in sales between the first and second Joker entries. While the original was dark and grisly drama that borrowed from Martin Scorsese's filmography of Taxi Driver and King of Comedy, the next chapter plays as a fantasy musical and includes covers of That's Life, Get Happy, and For Once in My Life, so they didn't even have original songs, as Arthur Fleck awaits trial for murder. The first Joker was a timely, fresh counterpoint to the dominant superhero narrative and tone, and it worked gross ads. The filmmakers deserve credit for making more unconventional, creative choices in Folie, adding the romantic angle with Lady Gaga, but this time nothing worked. Joker was released at boon times for comic book tentpoles, when the mere idea of superhero fatigue seemed laughable, but the genre has been proven to be less resilient in the post-pandemic era. Why are they going on about the pandemic again? Joker Folie Deux joins the ignominious, however you pronounce that, trio of 2023's Aquaman and The Lost Kingdom and The Marvels. All three are follow-ups to billion-dollar tentpoles that completely collapsed at the box office and became big money losers. The sequel to 2018's Aquaman tapped out with 439 million globally, while the sequel to 2019's Captain Marvel ended its run with just 206 million globally. Those misfires proved audiences will no longer show up simply because there's a DC or Marvel logo in the title credits. Superheroes used to be able to guarantee some level of opening weekend grosses, but there's no floor anymore, says one rival studio executive, on the condition of anonymity. Tolerance for films that are just okay doesn't cut it anymore. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, there's not much to take out of that, because it's just shown how crap Hollywood is right now and how bad everything is that they're doing. So I didn't think this was ever going to be any good. As soon as I heard that it was going to have musical elements, I was like, oh my god, that's going to be a disaster. And I think I did actually say it in a movie, in a video that I made. I think I did say that it's going to be really bad, or it's going to bomb. I did as soon as I found out. But yeah, there's not much more to say about it except it's crap. Don't bother going and watch it, because you'll be disappointed, and you'll probably leave in a worse state than you were when you went in. But yeah, it's going to be out on streaming soon. I think December. I think it's sometime in December that it's coming on streaming. So I mean, I probably wouldn't even bother watching it on streaming. I really wouldn't. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Because why don't you comment down below? Let me know what you think, and please do check out the links in the description, as they if you wanted to support the channel. There is merchandise, and there is a tipping page should you choose to use it. Still not sure if it's working, but yeah. Failing that, please do like and subscribe. It's free. It's the best thing you can do for us, and share, and yeah. Don't forget to take care, stay safe, and may the Schwartz be with you always.